over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget, over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing?
If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon.
A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not the weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was... Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They can send them to the MMA gym, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what it means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning or on the right. Is there anybody in this, that anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in a church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 in the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true.
The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see what that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic, she warned. These are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable. They're unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe it. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing it. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 reported hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that the New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Yeah. I know. It's a little embarrassing, I gotta be honest. Okay, so good morning. Happy hump day. It's hump day, right? See, I didn't even put up a hump day thing up here. Hump day. It's hump day. Hump. Let's see. Happy hump day. Let's see what shows up on happy hump day. Okay. No, okay, I can scroll. Okay, it's safe to scroll. And there's a couple good ones. I got one there for AD. Hi, welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And I'm actually doing a show today. Well, I did a show yesterday. I did the whole freaking show. Just watching the chat. There are people here. I'm like, okay, I don't know where it is, but whatever. And no one said anything that I saw. I mean, I watched the chat, but I didn't see the people asking me where the hell I was in the chat. Just I saw random things, and holy moly, that was embarrassing. But what happens sometimes, see, I set that countdown video, I put it on sometimes because I don't want it to go. I'm already late and I want it to be halfway done when I finally open the stream. And I just followed that, and when it was done, I started the show, and I'm doing the show, and I get done with the show, and I'm like, wait a minute. Was this thing on? Was this thing on? F! With the rest of the word intact. Anyway, hope you're having a lovely hump day. Let me just put this over here real quick and we'll get started. Okay, there's hump days in the works, and then holidays. There we go. All right, shall we begin? First, let's say hi to everybody, because I like to do that. And today I actually say hi to people and not just to a chap that's not going to respond. First in the chat today is Mr. Avocados Damme. He gets the bell. Now, I'm trying to remember who was here first yesterday. Was it Ms. Wildwolf? I think it was. So, does anyone remember who was first yesterday? I think it was Ms. Wildwolf. You get a bell, even if you're not here yet. I don't see you in the chat. Also, good morning to Kara Soldier, Blue-Eyed Scream. Hello, Lord Stanhope. Attack Alpaca. I'm still getting the @ names. Why am I getting the frickin' @ names? What do I have to do to fix that? Anyway, Lord Stanhope, I said, my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. And see, some of these, they have a different name than they like to be called. My other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views, is here. Let's see. Ms. Wildwolf, good morning. I think you did get the bell yesterday. I gave you the bell, even though you didn't hear it. Skella 08, which is a different name again. Again, these names are just the ats, and your ats are different from your names. JB's in the house. What up, Jay Blizza? Green Badger Outdoors. Bookworm Addict. Hello, Laura. I said Lord Stanhope. The Pope is here. Pope Tyrannius the Third. The Blessed Lich. With today's message of hope. The Pope says, blessing of the divine dead. Just now I had a simple breakfast. I plan to enjoy my simple day and simple friends. I have complex thoughts tomorrow, but today I will just keep it simple. Very nice message from the Pope. Thank you, sir. Also, good morning to that's kind of everybody. Oh, Rod Lyons in the house. What up, Rod? How you doing, brother? Rick Ashbringer. Hello, welcome to you too. TC, aka Moist Tree Rat. You can't change that, can you? And then Renee Mayette is here. Good morning. Okay, so that's kind of everybody. I want to just oh wow, what the hell's going on here? Let's fix that. There we go. So we have 23 people here today. I was wondering, there's lots of people compared to yesterday. And I was surprised because at the end of the show, there were like 17 people here, and I couldn't figure out why there were no likes because I didn't even start the damn show. So anyway, well, you don't have to change it, TC. One of these days, I'll not have the @ names and won't have to see your moistness, God, this bugs me, though. Even the participant tab says ats, but whatever. So if you haven't said anything in the chat yet, there's several of you who haven't, let me know you're here, and I'll appreciate that even more, and I'll appreciate you. If you want to sponsor the show, well, you know how to do that. There's links. Mr. Johnny Boomertech will put links there if you want to sponsor the show, or you can do YouTube super chats. That's fine. Share the stream if you haven't already. Many of you have, and let's see who has already done that. Of course, a lot of good that does you when I don't have a show going, but I did repost all those. So if people try to click that link and, I don't know, No, I know. Oh, that's midnight. Okay, okay. I didn't know what your at was. That's midnight. Okay. Hello, midnight. What's up, darling? Okay. Thanks to people sharing the show. JB with the big old "Let's Go" dancing in the subway. It looks. Oh no, that's not a subway. Is that what is that? A restaurant or something? Someone jamming out in the restaurant. Thank you, sir. Also, Somnambule Nation, of course, posts the show every day. I appreciate that. And gave us a Fredless. We got a Frederick Douglas. A Frederick Douglass quote from Green Badger Outdoors and a Let's Go saying, "Liberty is meaningless where the right to utter one's thoughts and opinions has ceased to exist. That of all rights is the dread of tyrants. It is the right which they first all strike down." Very lovely quote from none other than Frederick Douglass. And it's funny because during COVID, we got a lot of that, didn't we? We got a lot of that. They just strike down your words and shit. Ms. Wild Wolf, thanks for tweeting out the show. Greatly appreciate it again. And with the Let's Go. Woo! Let's go. Retweeting me. Link in the description with it's Wednesday again. Yep. Is that Kel or Kevin? That's Kev, right? And then people reposting Somnambule Nation, Ms. Wild Wolf, and what the hell? And JB. Oh, by the way, and here's the cute cat. I know that's from Ms. Wild Wolf, and I have a thing to tell you about cats today because it's a very special day in the world. Hello, Brooke, you already here, and TC also tweeting out the show. Not the moist tree rat. So there you go. All right. Thanks for everyone sharing the show. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Today, it is Hope Day. And, wow, that was weird. X users worldwide exchange positive morning greetings on October 29th. I don't know why that's on there. But it is Happy Hump Day. Here's a Hump Day. Oh, this is someone who hates Trump. Oh, if you idiots haven't figured out yet, the only reason I wanted to be president again was to get retribution, get rich, and keep my ass out of prison. I don't care about your puny life. Look, biatch, please. If you only, that it's not the president who has the government shut down right now. It's the people in that Congress and mainly in the Senate, because those Senate Democrats just don't want to pass that continuing resolution without demanding that their policy issues and policy things that normally are done in the normal process, they want to force the American people, force you to do that. Well, anyway, I'm floundering. Here's another Happy Hump Day. Precious Patriots, how do you like the birthday card that I got for my husband? Let's see. Happy birthday. Don't worry. Mexico will pay for the cake. Oh, shit. That's funny. And then, oh, that's weird. Happy Hump Day. It's a donut. They're twerking. And then the special one for Avocados Diable. We'll go full size on this. There you go, AD. There, we got our eye candy of the day on Happy Hump Day. I'm not going to scroll down any farther because it's mostly just me. And but oh, I didn't see that one. She's actually got clothes on, but she looks okay. I'm not putting it on screen though. I'm not doing it. Chick in her underwear and shit. No need that. Okay, today's I foreshadowed this next one here. Today's special holiday, ladies and gentlemen, and Miss Wild Wolf, it is National Cat Day. Yeah! All right, woo! National Cat Day. Everyone loves Cat Day, and so people are posting pictures of their cats. And I don't mean that in any kind of vernacular way. And I got to scroll carefully though, because you know how people are. They hear cat and they think of another word that maybe makes them decide to do shit that I don't want on my screen on YouTube. Good morning, Zero the Hero, by the way. So anyway, people are posting pictures of their cat. Happy National Cat Day to all my fabulous feline friends. Huge thank you to everyone involved in rescuing and caring for and rehabilitating kitties everywhere. Yeah, you know, if you're ever trying to find a pet, go check the shelters first where they give away pets. That's always a good place to get a pet. Now, sometime you might have to rescue a dog that is very skittish, like one of the ones we rescued. But that dog turned out to be an easy-to-train dog and became a little bit calmer in his days with us because we loved that dog to death. Well, okay, I didn't mean to death, but he died. She died. Her name was Lucky, and that's the name of Lucky Dogs. That's where the name Lucky Dog Studios comes from, because we called her Lucky Dog. Lucky that sometimes she was lucky that we didn't kill her ourselves, because she was a wild one. But it was okay. But she was a great dog, and we loved her and we miss her. So, but that has nothing to do with National Cat Day. Anyway, people showing pictures of their pussies. And all over the places on National Cat Day. Congratulations. And that's why I can't scroll too fast on this. So there you go. All right. Happy National Cat Day. Enough about that. And also, as you know, this week it's Halloween and people are posting all kinds of costume ideas all over the place. And there's all kinds of stuff about Halloween, but it's not Halloween yet. So screw that. Let's get on the other holidays. Of course, National Cat Day is number one on the calendar, on this calendar. National Internet Day. Well, every day is National Internet Day for me. Yes, that was Audrey Hepburn with a cat, by the way. National Oatmeal Day. If you like your old, as someone with a pond would say, I'd like my porridge, even though it's oatmeal, or oat porridge. National Hermit Day. Well, there's a day for everybody, isn't there? How would you know? How would they find out, though? That's what I'm wondering. How would they find out if it was National Hermit Day? I'm just curious. Do hermits have internet? I don't know. Maybe a hermit crab day. World Stroke Day? Not that kind of stroke. Stop it. And National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. If you have old prescription drugs that are expired, it's always a good idea to, well, do not dump them in your toilet. Take them back to the pharmacies where they can be properly disposed of. And then Philippines National Indigenous Peoples Thanksgiving Day. Wow, that's very specific. The Philippine Indigenous people have their own Thanksgiving Day. I did not know that. All right, there you go. Those are today's holidays. Congratulations if you are celebrating any of those. Now, a lot of the news that I talked about yesterday, when you weren't here, yeah, there's a day for strokes. Yeah, and it's funny. I said this the other day. Some of these holidays, when they say that, like they say it's National Stroke Day, it's almost like they need to change the name of the holiday, like National Stroke Prevention Day or National Stroke Awareness Day. Because when you say National Stroke Day, it sounds like you're celebrating strokes. And again, unless you're at a golf course or in a softcore porn movie, I'm not celebrating no strokes. Doesn't have to be soft porn, I guess. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, National Stroke Day. I'm not. National Apoplexy Day. Yeah, easy for you to say, AD. Okay, Jamaica's in the news. A lot of the news from yesterday is still in the news today, so I didn't have to change much. In fact, I used the same thumbnail. I just changed my picture to, put the Apostle Island shirt on there. Jamaica's in the news, obviously, because of Hurricane Melissa. Hurricane Melissa wreaking havoc across the island of Jamaica up to it was a very symmetrical hurricane. I'd never seen one like that before. But it was Category 5 that went across Jamaica, and there's a lot of footage of things happening. But the one thing I wanted to bring up that I saw this post earlier today, this person says, I opened TikTok to find out about Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, where my mother was born and still have some extended family. And the first 5 videos were all AI generated Sora fakes. AI watermarking is desperately needed and needed strongly enforced. Like, so this one, Hurricane Melissa has caused confusion and chaos as sharks seen cruising through the streets of Jamaica. That is an AI video. Anyway, someone says to our friends in Jamaica, your beautiful island is loved across the world. Our hearts are with you as you face nature. It's most destructive. Apparently, though, some of these stupid social media influencers decided they heard that there was going to be a hurricane in Jamaica, and they decided to fly to Jamaica to be there during the hurricane. To which Brad Palomo says, influencers are apparently the real victims of Hurricane Melissa, including one TikToker who knowingly flew to Jamaica when it was about to be hit with a Category 5 hurricane at some point. If these people die, it's just natural selection. With so many actual tragedies in the world, I did not have the tears left for them. So here's the post he's talking about, this dumbass. Here, let me full screen that. Hurricane Melissa out here messing with my vacation.
Jamaica no problem, not for influencer Hannah Grubbs. The wannabe social media star is under fire for flying to the Caribbean country as the island braced for a devastating hurricane. It's expected to be the strongest storm.
Again, Darwin Awards, man. Did she get one? I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out.
To ever lash Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa out here messing with my vacation. Hannah whined from her hotel balcony in Negril, and TikTokers fired back.
And
pretty freaking tone-deaf video. People are legitimately about to die.
Yes.
Pretty insensitive to the locals that do not have much, have no way to evacuate, and a lot of them are probably about to lose everything. It all started with this video of Hannah and a friend strutting through the airport, fully aware.
You get the point. I'm curious if natural selection took its toll. Let's see if anyone commented on this. Another tragedy, tourist is doing hurricane fit checks from Jamaica right now and posting updates to her 680,000 followers. Let's see, when digital cameras suddenly made everyone a wannabe professional photographer, something similar happened. Poverty tourism became a thing. Look, I visited Detroit and broke into abandoned buildings to take photos. I went to Cuba. Oh, she's saying what the people do. Look, I went to Cuba to see how beautiful run down everything is. Look how these people live in the favelas in Rio. It became the in thing to find the most devastation or poverty you could make art out of, and it was disgusting. These influencers are doing the same thing. Yep, pretty much. So, dumbasses. But now it's interesting because I don't see a whole lot of pictures of destruction, whatever. Tourists in Jamaica right now are treating Hurricane Melissa like it's part of their sightseeing tour. Rather than cutting their losses and heading home, they decided to stay and document their experience for clout. This disregard for Jamaica and the Jamaican people is deplorable, given how they will now be forced to wait on these holidaymakers hand and foot when they should be prepping for safety with their families, is even more so. Lastly, disaster tourists, don't you dare post your GoFundMe. Yeah. So there is some footage of the hurricane hitting Jamaica. Just the devastating winds got up to, they averaged 175 miles an hour, which means a lot of them were a lot more than that. And prayers for the people of Jamaica. There's not a lot of stuff about the devastation. There's some footage. Here's one. This morning's footage coming out of Jamaica is incredible, seeing survivors withstand the fierce winds of Hurricane Melissa while their roof is torn apart shows a true miracle of survival. What an absolute blessing. The strength of the Jamaican people is unmatched. So this is, apparently this is what they're talking about here. Let's play this one. This is post-hurricane. Yeah, their roof got torn off. But yeah, it was wildly symmetrical. Staff at Savannah Alarm Public General Hospital in west of Jamaica narrowly avoided being hit by a large metal sheet. Ooh, shit. The Category 5 hurricane has now been downgraded, but has left a trail of destruction in Jamaica. So, yeah, if you have ways to help or whatever, send prayers and love and money and whatever you can. Do so. Praying for Jamaica. All right, let's move on. Oh, and then Hurricane Melissa too, obviously trending because of that. So both. By the way, apparently there were some Jamaican people who were praising Israel because Israel already had assets in the Caribbean, or not necessarily in the Caribbean, but near the Caribbean, ready to help people in Jamaica and do rescue missions and shit like that, as did some of the U.S. Air Force. Hurricane hunters are out there also. So there's a lot of people around the world willing to help. And of course, the two evil empires, Israel and the United States, are probably the first in line to go help the people of Jamaica. Let's move on. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who might be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, has accused federal agents under the Trump administration of zip tying black babies and throwing them into vans during the immigration enforcement operation in the city's black communities. And this claim arose from the Operation Midway Blitz raids on September 25th, which targeted suspected criminals in neighborhoods like South Shore using tactics such as helicopter descents and flashbangs, leading to detentions and community outrage. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I know why he said this. Because first of all, there were a lot of reports of they were zip tying children, right? Except every time someone said they had an example of them zip tying children, it wasn't really what it was. Now, we showed you the video of the baby, right? Remember the police officer who was playing cops and robbers with his little baby, right? And people were saying, that was ICE officers handcuffing a baby. There was another one where this very short, slight woman, they showed a picture of her from the back, her being handcuffed by a police officer, not an ICE agent, and people were saying they're handcuffing children. Problem was, this was a 28-year-old woman who was just short and was being temporarily in custody for public drunkenness. It was not a child. And there's all kinds of examples. Every example I've seen, I still have never seen people are, by the way, I've heard people say that there were kids zip-tied. Hello, Select Boy, by the way. I heard there were people, yeah, boy. Well, that was a little slow. There was people saying that there were kids zip-tied, but not one picture of children being zip-tied during that raid. Nah, not one. But, of course, Mayor Brandon Johnson is full of shit. Here's Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Evil. And no one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified.
Oh, you know how I love how they always add and brown people, black people and brown people. That gives you plausible deniability by saying, oh, well, no, just people of color. He doesn't give a shit about brown people. He doesn't give a shit about black people. He don't give a shit about nobody. But here we go.
Black babies being thrown in the back of vans, zip tied in the middle of the night.
Didn't happen.
Masked men sticking guns in the faces of black and brown people. That is nasty, is vicious, is racist. Dr. King described it as an evil, militarism. And that.
Now, in the days of everyone having a camera in their hand with their phone and not a single picture of a child, an actual child being zip tied, I wonder how that happens.
That formation is an evil.
Now, of course, as I saw this here, I scrolled down one more account, and it's none other than Ed Krasenstein posting the same video. Trump is evil. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Black babies are being thrown in the back of vans and zip tied. And oh, no, I'm going to put, and not one single picture And not one single picture? Because that's the problem. Whenever someone makes a claim like this, I'm like, well, there's got to be a picture, right? There's got to be, someone's got to have a picture of it. Because everyone has cameras everywhere. There's video cameras and all this shit. Not one single picture of these people being children being zip tied. Now, as I scroll down, a lot of people are showing the example of that young child. That young child. This is the father of the child that was handcuffed. That he's
Meanwhile, this is what's happening to black children in our neighborhoods.
Hey, so all right, so apparently my video yet going viral again, saying that ICE is detaining kids. So they're using that picture, which is my video, of me and my son playing cops and robbers. Literally, this is us. It's just crazy, like the link, people will push shit in this line on the internet, and I'm just lost for fucking words. But if y'all don't know, me, myself, and my son, we live in Texas. We don't live in Chicago.
Not in Chicago.
Me and my son playing cops and robbers. Got a whole series on my page. I'm trying to figure out why people lying to make it political. Don't fucking know, but it's sick as hell, and y'all need to find Jesus.
All right. Good morning, Woo, my dear friend from high school. Now what studios in the house? How you doing, hon? All right. So, and I'm scrolling. Everyone replying to Brian Johnson, or excuse me, to Krasenstein. But anyway, so yeah, Brandon Johnson saying they're zip tying babies, throwing black babies in the back of vans and zip tying them in the middle of the night. These days, no pictures, no proof. All right, moving on. Also in the top news, apparently the Trump administration slashes $500 million in food aid, and SNAP halts on November 1st. Now look, there is one reason why SNAP benefits and other things are not going to happen November 1st. And that's known as the Senate Democrats, who've decided to hold the whole country hostage because they want their legislative priorities taken care of. And so apparently, now again, this is an aggregation of things Grok finds on X, and so different people talking about this. So ProPublica, their lefty group, saying obtain records from the Department of Agriculture that details the millions of pounds of food down to the number of eggs that never reach food banks because the Trump administration cuts to an aid program. Okay, so now obviously there's not, let's see, Trump canceled. They say Trump canceled it. Trump canceled millions of pounds of food. On a sweltering morning in Vidalia, Louisiana, Shannon Cornwell and Freddie Green got in a long line to wait for food. Oh, they're making it dramatic. The couple has struggled to pay for groceries amid soaring prices and health setbacks. They said she had back surgery. He had undergone cancer treatment. I should be playing the fucking violin music right now. They turned to the local food bank to supplement their diets. Although they're grateful for the food, lately they've noticed changes in what they receive. For months in the spring and summer, their pickups did not include any meat, Cornwell said. You have to learn how to adapt to what you have. Oh, and they chose people who probably voted for Trump for this story. So here's in the spring, the Trump administration abruptly cut $500 million in deliveries from a program that sent U.S. produced meat, dairy, eggs, and produce to food banks and other organizations across the country. About a quarter of the funding the program received in 2024. So you're saying that this program normally has $2 billion in food going to food banks, and now it's only $1.5 billion? Is that the cut? So see how they do that? They give you that big number. They give you that big number. Hi, Lady Cara, what's up? Be sure to leave out the fans and fudge rounds you didn't get in your you don't get cold in your stockings. Yeah. so Republicans trying to make this as dramatic as possible, right? So I'll even leave that article open. But oh boy, are all the usual suspects out there decrying this, okay? Ilhan Omar, defunding food banks is a new level of accrual. The Trump administration cut $500 million in food bank deliveries. These are the very food banks family are being forced to rely on with SNAP funding running out on November 1st. Hey, Ilhan Omar, talk to Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar, the senators from our state, lady. Tell them to go vote on the continuing resolution so that the government can be funded and then the SNAP benefits won't be shut off. Democrats caused this because they don't want to use the regular legislative process to get their priorities done. They decided to hold the country hostage. I'll have more of that in a minute. So anyway, this is the sob story of the day. Okay, got it. Next up here, what else? Grokpedia was trending and Wikipedia was trending yesterday, but they're doing it again. Elon Musk has done something called Grokpedia. It's not curated by people who go in and edit it with an agenda, but it's a Wikipedia style fact page that tries to use as neutral language as possible, not to politicize any particular, particular political agenda, right? Now, someone says, if you want to put a page from Grokpedia through Grok and ask for the flaws and logical fallacies in this page, it will give you all of the flaws. This is embarrassing. So here's an example. Oh, someone was complaining too that Grokpedia rips off directly from Wikipedia, word for word formatting structure, the whole thing. So apparently this is Grokpedia. This is Wikipedia. Here's the thing. All the wikis on the internet look just like Wikipedia. So, and they're not all done by Wikipedia. Wikipedia is open sourced, is an open source platform. It's not owned. I don't think it's owned by anybody. And so I don't know if that matters. But people are putting a lot of side-by-side examples of how Wikipedia maybe posts something versus Grokpedia. For example, note the difference between Wikipedia's first paragraph on George Floyd compared to the first paragraph from Grokpedia. The nuance and detail on Grokpedia is far superior to Wikipedia and is clearly not pushing any ideologies. Unlike Wikipedia, corrections like this are critical to our AI future. Thank you, Elon. So let's look at, here's how Wikipedia starts out with George Floyd. George Perry Floyd Jr. was an African-American man who was murdered by a white police officer in Minneapolis. Yeah, they're not trying to create any emotional issue there. During an arrest made after a store clerk suspected Floyd had used a counterfeit $20 bill. Derek Chauvin, one of 4 police officers who arrived on the scene, knelt on Floyd's neck and back for over 9 minutes, fatally asphyxiating him. Now, here's how Grokpedia starts that. George Perry Floyd was an American man with a lengthy criminal record, including both of them are pushing an agenda here. If you believe me, but which ones are they both accurate? Was an American man with a lengthy criminal record, including convictions for armed robbery, drug possession, and theft in Texas from 1997 to 2007. On May 25th, 2020, Floyd was arrested in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after a store clerk reported that he had used a counterfeit $20 bill to purchase cigarettes. During his arrest, which involved resistance from Floyd, who repeatedly stated he could not breathe even before being placed prone, Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds while Floyd became unresponsive. That's very different ways of describing that, isn't there? It's very different ways of describing that. So it's fascinating. Before we move on, thank you, Avocados Diablo. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a 223, aka Small Bullet in the tip jar. Who says, Avocados Diablo says, tinfoil hat time. Snap doesn't go out. Grocery store chains lose billions. Sales down, so orders down. Hire less holiday staff. Cutbacks spread to other industries. Economy slows down. Recession. Midterm. Dems scream, vote for us. They killed the economy. Oh, yeah. We know that's the plan. That's the playbook. There's a whole, right now. Thank you, Avocado Diablo. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. We know that that's the plot. And also right now, all the leftists are out there, all the people who were out there marching on No King's Day, now they're saying they're not gonna spend any money that during Black Friday week and the whole between Thanksgiving and like the 1st of December. Okay. And their hope is to destroy the economy. Now, 40 million people who get food stamps, right? Or, well, SNAP. It's SNAP. They use a little card now. And they always get them somewhere between November 1st and November 10th, depending on what their schedule is. The first week of the month of every year, or every month, that's billions of dollars that go into grocery stores, right? And so you're right. Grocery store chains are going to lose billions. Now, not necessarily the producers, because the producers, farmers or whatever, have already sold their stuff to stores. That's the thing. Except for maybe like fresh meat, but most like even produce today, you're probably getting in a couple weeks it's already being shipped to the stores right now. Let's put it that way, because it ripens as it's shipped, whatever. So yeah, the grocery stores are the ones that are going to be hurting, and it's going to hurt grocery stores pretty badly. That's about 12% of the United States population of the United States is on food stamps. 40 million people. That's a lot of people. So it's gonna cause problems throughout industries that have to do with anything that has to do with food, including trucking, shipping, whatever. And Democrats know that. They don't care. They don't care. They are banking on your suffering. They are using suffering of people as leverage to get their legislative priorities passed. Like this whole healthcare thing. They keep talking about, your healthcare premiums are going to go up if you're on Obamacare or whatever, ACA, Affordable Care Act. No, they're not. The premiums are going back to what they were. They started here. They're going back to here. During COVID, the subsidies helped them come down to here. So what they're calling Donald Trump increasing your premiums, no, they're just going back to here. What you were paying before they had these emergency subsidies for the ACA. But the Democrats want to make them permanent subsidies. And guess what? While you're here, you started here, went to here, coming back to here, the price of actual health care has gone from here to here to here to here. It's kept going up, but your subsidy wouldn't make you pay this much. So a lot of the Democrats are saying, well, you're paying here, but now you're here, right? We're still here. We're still here. But they're saying that their premiums are going up to here. But the people who started here are going to be here again. So they're all full of shit. And there are actual pieces in that legislation that they say, oh no, we're not going to give health care to illegal aliens. If you read it, it's right in there. There's like $100 million for health care for illegal aliens. I don't care if it's emergency health care or what. Good morning, Cashapp. How you doing, Kirsten? So, they're full of shit. They just are full of shit. Sorry, they are. Okay, another thing that was trending yesterday and is trending today, Riley Gaines. Apparently, Riley Gaines and AOC have a little spat going, and Riley Gaines offered to have a debate with AOC. Apparently, it's kind of funny because whatever side you're on, you're supporting one or the other. Lots of people dragging Riley Gaines. The big thing. Oh my God, you're this person. Now this is funny. Now this person is on AOC's side, but she puts a full-on donkey picture of AOC. That's hilarious. Look at that donkey mouth. What up, Alan? What up, Alan? How you doing? Holy cow! AOC told Riley Gaines she should have channeled her anger into swimming faster, so she wouldn't have to come in fifth. And I'm sorry, if you're fifth best swimmer in the nation, I'd be pretty proud of that. But whatever. So, but all the lefties are dragging Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines. It's always because it's always hilarious. She replied to AOC. It's always hilarious when they think they've landed a gotcha by pointing out that I was fifth fastest woman in the nation, and yet they conveniently forget the mediocre man who ranked 462nd in the men's division. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, all the lefties are just mad at Riley Gaines for saying that she would debate AOC. So whatever. Moving on. Let's see. Don Lemon's trending. Oh, Don Lemon. Apparently Don Lemon said I don't even know what happened. He said something about saying that Megyn Kelly looked like a trans woman or something like that. And trans people are mad as hell that he said that. Oh, here it is right here. Here's this stupid thing. Here's what he said. And people are, is
Megyn Kelly chopped?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what is chopped. I've heard it, but I don't know what that means. What does chopped mean?
She's gonna get mad at me, dude. I don't know if I want this heat.
What does chopped mean?
Chopped means like not hot.
Yeah, she's chopped. I don't know, the whole MAGA look.
It's all the MAGA ladies.
Too much.
Kind of looks like a Barbie doll covered in like WD-40.
I think she looks trans.
Let's end on that note.
Now,
is Megyn
that got the trans people pissed off. I'm a Dem and I suppose the liberal, and I have no clue who Don Lemon is. We aren't all cookie cutter as the cult. Also, I don't know what that means. So Don Lemon, the trans community is looking at Don Lemon after saying Megyn Kelly looks like them. The snake is eating his tail. And some people are saying, well, MAGA spent years calling Michelle Obama a man. Yeah, I don't think they need to call her a man either. Hello, Midnight Exile. What's up? And Caro's in the house. If that's what all trans people look like, sign me up. Okay. Yeah, that kid is afraid, right? But it's funny. And this is a good point. Don Lemon calls Megyn Kelly not hot and looks trans on a show, which basically he's meaning that trans is a negative thing. Is that what he's saying? I don't know. So anyway, that's why he's peaking today. Arctic frost is trending. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but Biden-era FBI may have investigated over 160 Republicans as part of the Arctic frost probe. Documents show more than 160 Republicans, including current Trump administration officials, may have been investigated by the FBI under former President Joe Biden as part of the Bureau's sweeping Arctic frost probe. Documents show the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, U.S. Pardon Attorney Ed Martin, and White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro were among the prominent GOP figures named in FBI files released by the House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday, detailing a massive scope of the Biden-era Justice Department's investigation into allegations of 2020 election interference. What we have learned was much broader and more expansive than we ever thought, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan told Fox News host Sean Hannity. This is why we want why we want former special counsel Jack Smith in front of our committee in a deposition format, Jordan continued. Was this a political operation you guys were running against President Trump? How many other members of Congress did you spy on? Those are the kinds of questions we want to ask Jack Smith to see what kind of answers we get from the guy who ran this whole operation. So Jack Smith may be in the hot seat soon. Let's put it that way. Also, now this is where we were yesterday. This wanted to talk about SNAP and the government shutdown that I would say is, I would say entirely the Democrats, on the Democrats' lap. So this is the post that yesterday I had. The U.S. government shutdown entering its 29th day since October 1st, 2025, has left 1.4 million federal workers unpaid and threatens to cut off $8 billion in SNAP benefits for 40 million recipients starting November. $8 billion for 40 million recipients. $8 million. $8 billion. So, you know, the first half of the month in grocery store chains, think of it, losing that industry, losing $8 billion in 1 month. Now, probably not $8 billion. A lot of those people probably have ways to get money and get food. But of course, also there's going to be a lot of people stealing shit too. But Republicans controlling the White House. Now, this is funny. And again, you can tell Grok uses what people are saying on the internet to make their post here, because listen to how it's worded. And it's always worded based on whatever people are saying. And so there's a kind of a seesaw, a scales effect of who's saying more, and that's these summaries basically on who's saying more. Listen to how this is worded. Republicans controlling the White House, House, and Senate claim Democrats have blocked clean funding bills 13 times via filibusters. That is true. While Democrats accuse the GOP of refusing to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies that could double premiums for 20 million people. It won't double them. But if it does double them, that means they gone from here to the subsidy back to here, what they were paying before the additional subsidies. And guess what? This is not, the continuing resolution is not where you negotiate that. You can negotiate that in the 12 appropriations bills. Now, but Democrats accuse the GOP of refusing to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies that could double premiums for 20 million people. Federal unions urge an end to the impasse. The federal unions are, the government employee unions are getting pissed, and they're not pissed at Republicans. They know it's the Democrats. We'll get to that. And that a billionaire donor partially funded military pay. President Trump remains abroad as negotiations stall. So he was over in, where was he? In Japan or somewhere in the East Asia. So here's Mike Johnson. This is what I played yesterday that you didn't hear. This is Mike Johnson talking about this. I'm going to play most of it, maybe the whole thing. We'll see in a second. I think he gets redundant, so I stop. But listen, here is Mike Johnson talking about the shutdown.
So I brought you a little visual aid here to just remind everybody what the simple facts are. 4 simple facts here. The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't, not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate, not a bare majority. And so point number 1, Democrat votes are required to open the government. Point number 2, they refuse to do it. They have now voted 12 times to keep the government closed. 13 now. And they'll have another chance today or tomorrow, maybe multiple times this week, and we'll see what they do. Now, the third point is very important because they've been trying to confuse the American people. They've tried to say this is a fight about health care or this or that or any other thing, and it's very simple. They put this on paper. They made this their demand in writing in the record of the Senate, and it has not changed. These are just 4 subpoints there under fact number 3, but there's many more. But among the things they're demanding, this is what the Democrats in the Senate are demanding to reopen the government. They want to give $200 billion in health benefits to illegal aliens and non-citizens paid for by U.S. taxpayers.
It's not about health care for illegal aliens.
They want billions in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries. So we stopped.
They passed a budget, and now they want to renegotiate the budget in the continuing resolution.
These things. They want to turn it all back on. They're demanding that we do all that to get the government open for hardworking Americans again. They want to give $500 million to left-leaning news organizations, and they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. We will not do those things.
You get the idea, okay? So he's going to say it's on Democrats. Now, this is what Aaron Rupar, he's one of these left-wing influencer shills, used to be a journalist. I don't know what the fuck he does now, but he's absolutely propagandist for the Democrats and the left. He posted this: Mike Johnson, Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of the government. We aren't. Now, they try to make it sound like, well, the government, the Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the presidency. They are in charge of the government. Always admitting the fact that this particular continuing resolution to keep the government open needs 60 votes. 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. They need Democrat votes to keep the government open. And so these assholes keep playing just this part of the clip. Listen, and I'm going to show you what responses to this are.
The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't.
I wish you would have said, we have to have Democrat support to keep the government open. Republicans have all voted to keep it open. Democrats have not. That's what he should have said. But when he says the Democrats are required to open the government, it makes it sound like, oh, they're in charge. Well, in this case, they need Democrat votes.
Not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate.
And at least he left that part in.
And so
at least he left the 60 votes parts in. But, of course, people like Gavin Newsom press office, if you control all three branches of government, how are you not in charge? Should I give you a remedial math lesson there, Gavin Newsom's government press office, whatever? Again, Jessica Tarloff, too, sometimes says the dumbest shit. She's that the token liberal on Fox News now. Remember when, who was it? Sean Hannity. What was Combs' name? Hannity and Combs. He's passed away. May he rest in peace. But remember, it was Hannity and Combs, and he was the kind of the Fox News token liberal. Well, now it's Jessica Tarloff. Don't Republicans control the House, Senate, and White House? Asking for a friend. Hey, moron. Take the supermajority to pass the CR. So Democrats are the ones blocking it, dumbass. And again, here's another one. Gallego. He's saying, well, how can I negotiate? The president is in Asia for 5 days. Johnson's keeping the House out until January to protect pedophiles. So who am I negotiating with? Your bill has already been passed by this House. You maybe go negotiate with your state's Democrat senators and tell them to get the fucking government open. So anyway, a lot of that bullshit. Oh, by the way, I don't know what the Democrats were thinking. They had someone testifying on the floor of the House or a Senate or something about, oh my gosh, she's not getting her SNAP benefits, and they chose this woman of all people as an employee. Here it is.
Employee of the school district. I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs.
If you're not paying for food, what the fuck are you eating? Are you eating stray dogs and cats in the neighborhood? Because you don't look like you missed a meal, lady. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I thought that was in my head. By the way, today's cup is keep the dumb fuckery to a minimum today. I started the stream. That's good.
If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. Does she single-handedly prove that maybe some people are getting too much in SNAP benefits? I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I...
By the way, I'm not bemoaning people who need SNAP. And in fact, a lot of the changes they've made, elderly people on a fixed income, I understand it. I guess I understand people who are disabled. I understand even to an extent, single people with children, through no fault of their own, a husband died or whatever. I understand that. I don't bemoan that at all, that some people get SNAP benefits. What I do, though, is when I see the people putting out TikTok videos saying they refuse to work, or why do I need to get a job to get my benefits? When they're fully, clearly they're smart enough to talk on TikTok, they're able-bodied enough to do TikTok dances and shit. The idea that you could, one of the things was either you get 20 hours a week at a job or 15 hours volunteering a week. And they don't even do that. Listen, I think did she say something about that? I don't know. She has a job, but I'm just saying, I
have enough food to put on the table. Employee of the school.
Don't have enough food to put on the table. Again, what the fuck are you eating then? Oh, and then the dumbest member of the United States Senate. The dumbest, because not the dumbest in the Congress, because that's Hank Johnson, but the dumbest person in the United States Senate. And it's a close tie, but Senator Mazie Hirono from Hawaii. A friendly reminder that Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House. This shutdown is entirely their fault. Oh, did you vote to keep the government running, Senator? I did not know that. I did not know that you voted to keep the government open. Oh, well, okay, for sure, lady. Oh my God, it's insane. So, let's see. So clean CR is trending. Here's, and again, Mazie Hirono. For 28 days now, Republicans have complained that Democrats won't vote for their so-called clean CR. There is nothing clean about doubling Americans' healthcare costs. The only thing their proposal is clean of is my vote. Bitch, you lying. You're lying. You're just lying directly to our faces. Now, I have other stuff open about this. This idiot carrying guy saying, nobody wants to hear your lectures. You ran. Because John Fetterman is one of the Democrats who did vote for the continuing resolution. And he posted this: Americans are not any party's leverage. Open our government to feed 42 million people on SNAP, pay the military and our workers, pay the Capitol Police. We can find a bipartisan way for the American Affordable Care Act tax credit. We can negotiate that and try to get that, to people's satisfaction. To which this idiot writes, listen to this. To John Fetterman, Democrat from where's he from? Pennsylvania. This idiot writes, nobody wants to hear your lectures. You ran as a Democrat and then abandoned your party to become a MAGA Republican. What? Did John Fetterman change parties? I didn't hear about that. Republicans need to pass a clean continuing resolution and open the government. Your continuing resolution cut SNAP for 42 million Americans, including 22,000 military families. What? No, it doesn't. It's just continue to fund the government as it was still on the Biden budget. It doesn't cut anything. Democrats put forward a bill to pay military and federal workers during the shutdown, and your party refused to even bring it to the floor. No, just the opposite. Republicans brought a bill to pay the military and federal workers. No, you lie. Funny how you suddenly care about Capitol Police after your party pardoned 1,500 rioters who injured 140 officers on January 6th. No, the president did, and John Fetterman's not a Republican. Not a Republican. Continuing resolutions are not for negotiating the ACA or anything else. Then why? What? Why are they doing it then? That's the Democrats. Now, it is his party that's doing that. They simply keep government running at current levels. The only reason we need one is because Republicans failed to pass the budget. No, we did. They passed the budget. Wasn't that the big, oh my God. These people are stupid.
Hello, Pinto Bishop. Is that Bishop? Norfolk police love to harass sailors and their families in Navy housing. When I needed an ambulance for my wife, it took 40 minutes. That sucks. That really sucks. Holy shit. I can't believe there's people this stupid. All right, I'm going to finish off. I got a couple of Instagram videos in here, but there's one in particular I want to play because this explains the shutdown probably better than any I ever could. All right, and then there's a couple more in here, and I got a bunch of articles open, but I'm going to finish with this. Here we go.
Why is the government shutdown not a both sides issue? Why are the Democrats to blame? Well, Democrats are using a short-term spending bill to push long-term policy changes that don't belong there. They've said it outright. They will not vote to reopen the government unless their healthcare demands are met. What they're demanding is an extension of temporary COVID-era spending that artificially lowered healthcare costs under the Affordable Care Act. Those measures were not part of the ACA itself. They were emergency subsidies created under the American Rescue Plan Act and later extended through 2025 by the Inflation Reduction Act. When that spending expires, the ACA simply returns to its original pricing framework. Not a spike, not a crisis, just a return to baseline after years of inflated relief funding. And yes, subsidies, people will feel it. Premiums will adjust. But that's not because Republicans raised prices. It's because Democrats are refusing to admit that these subsidies were temporary. They're using the fear of higher costs, a perception they created, to justify holding the government hostage. And because Republicans are in full power, this is great leverage to make it look like it's their fault. Leverage. Now, here's where it gets even more reckless. They're not just trying to extend the pandemic subsidies. They're also trying to reopen and revise parts of the One Big Beautiful Bill, a massive spending law that's already been passed and signed into law earlier this year. The One Big Beautiful Bill reshaped portions of Medicaid and other federal programs, and Democrats now want to undo sections of it by tying their changes to the current funding debate. Instead of debating revisions through normal legislative order, they're trying to squeeze them into the continuing resolution, which is a short-term bill that's supposed to do one thing: keep basic government operations funded. And that's the abuse here. A continuing resolution isn't a policy-making tool per se. It's abuse. A bridge, a stopgap to prevent a shutdown.
It's an abuse of process. And it is absolutely forcing suffering on some American people, including federal workers, including military, including federal police, including people who get entitlement benefits. Now, we can argue about entitled benefits after the continuing resolution because there needs to be some reform. We obviously find people gaming the system all over the place, but there are also people who need it, and they are just, they are, again, abuse is a great word.
Shutdown while Congress negotiates the full budget, using it to rewrite sections of existing law, whether that's the pandemic relief measures or the One Big Beautiful Bill, is procedural malpractice.
Y'all motherfuckers in the chat are killing me. Oh my God. Thought he was a semi-driver. Holy shit. Oh my God. Yeah, Steve Shives lives. No, he doesn't have a butthole mouth. Does he? I haven't noticed.
Not the right place, not the right time. Look, the Democrats are desperate. They are held captive by the socialist wing of their party, the Democratic Socialists of America. And they know the only thing they have to appease that base is empty rhetoric about Trump, MAGA, and the Republicans. So it's not really about healthcare, in my view. It's about control, about rewriting existing.
It's about control. Ha! Damn right.
Law through the wrong channel and using a temporary funding bill to do it. And as more people understand that, it'll be hard to unsee the man behind the curtain.
All right, so there you go. That's a great view. There's a couple more in there, but I don't have time, unfortunately. But yeah, this shit is Democrats who have admitted they're using it as leverage multiple times. They're multiple different people. They're using the American people and the suffering of American people, as they would put it, as leverage, and blame it on the Republicans because the Republicans have, majorities in the two houses and has the presidency. But again, anyone with a brain and can do a tiny bit of math realizes it's Senate Democrats who are forcing the shutdown, not Republicans, not the president, because the president can't do anything until the bill is signed. And frankly, he shouldn't. He shouldn't do a damn thing. Just let the Senate Democrats take the heat on this one in the long run, and FTG to the Senate Democrats right now. So on that note, I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I am just about to put these links in the chat, which I always do. I'm just going to put links and a dash, and there you go. There they are. So those are the links from today's show, including some articles I had open and the aggregator, which is great. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I highly encourage you to click on some of those links and see what's there. So you have a great day. I got to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am audio. Oh, wants me to play a Tom McDonald video first. I can't right now. I'm out of time. I gotta get because I gotta drop something off for my wife at her work before I go do my own shit. So y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. See ya.